funny how some things just stay with you. There's this cartoon I used to love when I was a kid, and I think I may have even been a preschooler, but I'm not so sure. Anyway, the cartoon was called Kimba the White Lion, and I hadn't seen the show in decades, yet I had no trouble recalling its theme song. Simple, repetitive to the point of annoyance. I could hear it as clearly in my mind as an adult as I could when it was bellowing from my TV as a kid. For this reason alone, I couldn't resist renting Kimba when I saw that Netflix offered it amongst its anime titles.
Kimba, who lives down in deepest, darkest Africa? Who's the one who brought the jungle fame? Who's the king of animals in Africa? Kimba the White Lion is his name.
Once called Japanimation, or Japanation, anime is the distinctive animation imported from Japan. Now, anime is a bit hard to describe, your age weighing in on what exactly constitutes anime, its style. For example, there's Princess Mononoke for the younger crowd, Pokemon going back a little further, Star Blazers for the 30-somethings, and Speed Racer for the older folks. But whatever you think of as anime, its roots in America go back to the mid-1960s with the introduction of such classics as Kimba the White Lion. One of the defining characteristics of early anime was its rather stiff, often seemingly cheap feel, sometimes occasionally giving way to an almost surreal poster art quality. In the day and age before computers, when everything had to be drawn by hand, higher quality animation meant a much higher cost. So the studios were often forced to cut corners, resulting in clumsy, choppy movement anchored by a few more detailed pieces of art.
Kimba, 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 Kimba.
Created by Osamu Tezuka, who also created the better-known Astro Boy series, Kimba the White Lion is a strange mix of cutesy children's animation with some serious adult themes. Kimba, as king of the jungle, is a social reformer. He's actively seeking to end the law of the jungle, replacing it with peaceful coexistence, education, and even a vegan restaurant so animals won't eat each other. His model is human society. Well, not human society, the human ideal, meaning the society we dream of one day having, what we've always been reaching for, and not our present society with all its predatory flaws, if you'll pardon the expression.
It seems as if the humans have discovered how to make their world a perfectly dreamy place, doesn't it, Kimba?
That's right, but I wouldn't have dreamed it was possible until Roger Ranger and his uncle took me to the World's Fair that time, Geraldine.
Say, everybody, I think the animals could make a better world if they could go and see the World's Fair, too. Don't you?
That's right, Dodie. We're behind the times. We could certainly use some modern improvements here in the jungle.
You've got to remember, although Kimba the White Lion was purchased by NBC as a children's show, it was based on Jungle Emperor, a manga piece created by Osamu Tezuka. Manga is a Japanese comic book or graphic novel. Comics in Japan are as much for an older crowd as they are for young kids, which explains the otherwise confusing injection of heavy concepts into what appears to be a children's Saturday morning cartoon. On the bright side, kids are as fascinated by the idea of talking animals today as they were 40 years ago, so there's a good chance that any young children you know will enjoy Kimba the White Lion without even noticing the social statements. And, of course, any students of anime will want to give this one a look. One last thing. Everyone who watches Kimba the White Lion walks away thinking that they know exactly where Disney got the idea for The Lion King.
Who's the one who brought the jungle fame? Who's the king of animals?